Hey, welcome back to Seahawk Central Sports. Lucas and I are back and are going to debate some trendy sports topics for the upcoming week. Let's start off with some men's college basketball. The UNCW basketball team has surprised a lot of folks with their start to the season as they were picked to finish last in the CAA preseason poll. Lucas, who is the favorite to win the Colonial Athletic Association at this point in the season?
I like VCU. I think they're really good. They came in here a few weeks ago. They're led by Jamie Skeen, went to North Mech in Charlotte. A lot of shout out to all you Charlotte people there. Was at Wake Forest for a little bit, transferred 14.5 points a game, almost 8 assists. They're 13-5 with a good conference record, and in second place, I think they're the team to beat in the CAA.
Jamie Skeen was solid in that game. I saw the VCU game, but they didn't really have a bench, and they had a very awful backup point guard. But I got ODU, Old Dominion. They won the conference last year. They were 27-9 last season. They're 13-4 now, 4-2 in conference. They lost to Georgetown, which is ranked from the Big East, 62-59 in the first game of the season. Their best player is a guy named Hassel. His first name is Frank Hassel, and he's averaging 12.9 points per game. He's shooting 55% and 9.3 rebounds per game. And they won the division last year, and I'll say this. Last year, Larry Sanders played for VCU, and he was a first-round draft pick, but they didn't make the tournament. They didn't have very much team cohesion.
Well, the CAA doesn't get a lot of credit. They don't get a lot of at-large bids. In fact, I think we've only had 1 or 2 at-large bids over the history of the conference. George Mason was an at-large bid, actually, a few years ago when they went to the Final Four. But anyways, I think that Old Dominion is a powerhouse in this conference, and so is VCU. I think they're really good. But I think really the most impressive thing that we've seen in the CAA season is the play of the Seahawks.
Absolutely.
Buzz has got these guys playing well, and I'll tell you what, you and I both know firsthand, they are undersized. Every single night, they're the smallest guys on the court. Most of the time, 4 or 5 guys on the other team are taller than all of our players.
Yeah, and they have got the most heart of any team on the
really
floor, especially at home.
And
shooting threes, the lights out.
Tom Coe has really turned into a leader. His 4th year,
absolutely.
He really fallen well into this Buzz Peterson system. I really think we could do some damage in the tournament. I'm not predicting a win, but we could do some damage.
Tom Coe, one last point. Tom Coe is a great mentor for Tanner Millsap.
Oh God, so good, so good. Future right there, baby. Okay, so first-year coach Cynthia Cooper-Dyke has led the Seahawks to the top of the standings as conference play really starts to get into full swing here. Ben, who is your favorite to win the CAA on the women's side?
Got to go with our team, the UNCW Seahawks. Coach Cynthia Cooper-Dyke is bringing in her winning ways. Of course, we've talked all about her past championships and Olympic golds and whatnot. Brittany Blackwell was preseason All-CAA. She is living up to it. Martha White, we said in the highlights earlier.
Double-double.
Double-double. Who do you have?
I'm going with the Seahawks. I'm a hometown guy here. I like them. We're getting tons of publicity. We've been ranked in the top 25 in the mid-major poll rankings. They rank mid-major conferences because they don't get as much love as the big guys. So, we've been ranked in that. We started off the season really great. We had a couple games televised on TV around here, women's basketball games, an away game at that being televised. So they're really getting some credit. And it's like we said earlier in the year, Cynthia Cooper-Dyke, the first thing she's going to bring is a mentality to win. She knows how to win. She's going to motivate these girls. And basketball is a sport, especially college basketball, that thrives and runs on motivation and effort. And if she can get her girls playing hard, I think they could do anything. The sky's the limit, honestly.
Absolutely. A big game to watch. January 20th, that's coming up this week. At UNC Wilmington, the Delaware Blue Hens will be in town. Elena Del Don she averaged 26.7 points and 8.8 rebounds a game last year. Delaware is
ridiculous numbers.
They're third in the conference right now, and that's going to be a great game. And like you said, they were on WWAY on Channel 12 on Sunday. It was a close game. They pulled it out in the end. I watched a little bit of it. It's great to see the UNC Wilmington Seahawks, especially the women's basketball team, get that much local media attention. Yeah,
I'm really excited. Where just our basketball program in general is going. It's a good direction.
All right, to the ACC now. This past week, the Duke Blue Devils fell from their #1 national ranking following a loss to Florida State. UNC, Boston College, Florida State, and Clemson all have had strong starts in the ACC. Are the defending champs still the favorites to run away with ACC crown, though?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody who thought that Duke was going to go undefeated, wasn't going to have a single loss all year, was going to roll into March, lossless, just out of their mind. You can't do that in the ACC. They are heads and shoulders above everybody else. There's not another ranked team in the ACC. It's Duke. You got to like them. They're the favorites.
It is a surprising down year for the ACC, but I think that will change as we get through the conference and people see how good they are. I still expect 6, 7, maybe even 8 teams from the conference to make the tournament. My sleeper, though, NC State. State will beat Duke. They will beat Duke. I'm calling it right now. C.J. Leslie lives for the big games. He will step up when it counts.
So do you think State is going to win the conference, though?
No, I still think Duke is the team to beat in the conference.
What about overall? Where does Duke rank in the national scheme of things?
The national scheme of things, they rank 5th which is where they are right now. They rank behind Ohio State. They rank behind Kansas. They should rank behind San Diego State, but they don't. Syracuse is better. Fabricio Melo is great. And they also have Scoop Jardine. I like Syracuse, honestly, but I liked them last year, and that didn't pan out.
Well, you know, Duke took kind of an underdog role last year. They were 1 seed going into the tournament, but a lot of people thought they were the least deserving of the 1 seeds. People overlooked them. A lot of people weren't really talking about them last March, and they kind of rolled right in and did their thing. Coach K had them playing well. It's going to kind of be like that again. These injuries, this loss to Florida State, I really think they're going to kind of fly under the radar a little bit, even though they're national champions. Almost like the Saints did in the NFL, just kind of fly under the radar a little bit. Just hopefully not have that first-round loss.
The Morris twins deserve some respect and attention out of Kansas. They have ESP. Did you see the way the alley-oop last night? The ball. He was jumping to the rim before that ball was thrown.
Kansas is good too. Kansas is always a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be an interesting March. I'm ready for it. Now let's move on to some playoff football, baby. In the NFC Championship games, the Bears will host the Green Bay Packers to play their 3rd game against each other this season, with the winner advancing to the Super Bowl. The Bears and the Packers both had dominating performances versus the Seahawks and the Falcons, respectively, last week. The Packers, led by red-hot quarterback Aaron Rodgers, look to continue his stellar ways and notch his first Super Bowl appearance. However, do you think the Bears can stop him?
Yes, and here's why. Let me first point out that people were ragging on Aaron Rodgers for not being able to win a playoff game. Well, he's won 2. You know who hasn't won a playoff game yet? Matt Ryan, who he beat last week. But here's why I got the Bears. This is the exact same team that went to the Super Bowl in 2008. They were in the Super Bowl in 2008. The Packers haven't been in the Super Bowl since 1997 against the Broncos. This is the same team that went there in 2008 with a few minor exceptions. Jay Cutler instead of Kyle Orton, upgrade. Johnny Knox instead of Brandon Lloyd. Brandon Lloyd's career was nothing when he was in Chicago. Julius Peppers, hello, all-pro. Defensive end, paying him out of the butt.
It was actually Rex Grossman, not Kyle Orton, who took him to the Super Bowl that year. But I agree.
Orton was on the bench.
They upgraded him. They definitely upgraded. Right. The team is defensively is the same team. I will agree with you there, and I think that is one of the things that's really going to propel them is their defense. I really think I know Pittsburgh and New York Jets are still in this, but I think the Bears have the best defense in the game. I think Julius Peppers has totally changed, has brought youth to that veteran team. I think that Urlacher and the linebackers behind him,
Chris Harris, the new D-back,
exactly. And the guys next to him and the guys behind him are better because he's on the field. Really, what a resurgence in his career, and I can't be happier for the guy. He's a Carolina alumni. He stayed.
Traitor.
Yeah, he's not a traitor. He did what he had to do.
If you're a Panthers fan, he's a traitor.
I am not a Panthers fan. He did what he had to do.
He's traitor.
However, think the Pack are going to pull it out. I think Aaron Rodgers is really he's too good. He's too good. He's too versatile. He's so hard to bring down. He's like Ben Roethlisberger. He's like this
Jay
weird,
Cutler is hard to bring down. 2 touchdowns rushing last week and 2 passing touchdowns.
Jay Cutler looked good last week.
Jason Starks. You don't think Urlacher and Peppers and Tommy Harris are not going to stuff Jason Starks in his track?
You don't think Matthews is going to be all in there from Green Bay up in Chuck Cutler's face? Matthews is a playmaker. He comes from a pedigree family.
I don't know.
Forte
on the screen.
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. And you know what? What a great game to have. What a Midwest Conference, 3rd time they played this year. What a great game. Let's move on to the AFC side of this argument. The Jets shocked the world when they beat the Patriots in New England this past Sunday. Actually, they didn't shock me.
Didn't shock me either. I don't know why.
However, Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers are waiting for them. Who do you got, Ben?
I got the Steelers, and here's why. Ben Roethlisberger did not play in the first 6 games this year, as we all know. First 4 games. It's supposed to be 6, and they got switched to 4. He's rested. At this point in the year, the last 4 seasons, he has been injured in some way or another. He is not the most durable quarterback. A lot of media analysts don't point that out. But he's healthy now. He's more well-rested. You have Rashard Mendenhall tearing it up in the backfield. Capable receivers, Mike Wallace, Antoine Randall-El. The defense is always stout. James Ferrier, Lamar Woodley. You can keep on and on.
Yeah.
Ike Taylor, is he still there?
Yeah, they're... You're right. You can just name names from that team. For argument's sake, I'm going to be devil's advocate a little bit here. Sanchez is looking great. He's really looking good. They play this underdog role well. They play this wild card role well. I mean, they got this swagger about them. That's what they have. They have a swag about them. They all are ready to play. They all are excited.
Play on emotion.
2 straight AFC Championship games. They do play on emotion.
And they lost last
week. I know. They did lose last year in the AFC Championship game, but I think they got to learn. I think they'll learn from it. But in all seriousness, it's Pittsburgh. It has to be Pittsburgh. They are the new dynasty. They are the new Patriots. They have, I think it's 5 of 7 AFC Championship games they've been to in the past 7 years. 5. It's incredible numbers. Ben Roethlisberger has won 2 Super Bowls. He's looking to win his 3rd. I mean, and he's so young, and these players.
Mike Tomlin is going to be the best coach on the field. You won't see him mixing words with Rex Ryan this week. The Jets, they play too much on emotion. You get stomped 45-3. against the Patriots on Monday night, national audience, you want to come back and beat them. They live and die,
but
on emotion.
You say they play on emotion. I don't like that argument because, I mean, what emotion can't be higher? You win, you're in the Super Bowl. There's only one game bigger than the game they're about to play. If they don't come ready to play,
being
they shouldn't
a
be
professional, respectful franchise like the Steelers that live on their reputation, that you keep control of your emotions.
Again, another great game. It's
going to be great. It's going to be
a good weekend.
Now to a team that finished with the worst record in the National Football League this past season. Hey, we get the #1 draft pick, the Carolina Panthers. They recently hired Sean McDermott to take over the defense and Rob Chudzinski to take over the offense. But the big question is, can new head coach Ron Rivera turn around the dismal Panthers and lead them to the playoffs again in the already formidable NFC South?
I think you said it there, the NFC South. It's too hard. It's too hard. Tampa Bay was the third-place team this year, and they were so solid.
10-6, yeah.
They were so solid. Josh Freeman looks amazing. And then, I don't need to tell you about Drew Brees and the Saints. I don't need to tell you about Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, who has only lost 3 games at home. They're going to have to play 6 games against playoff-caliber teams. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's an uphill battle. I think what they got to do is they got to get back to the run game. They got to get back to Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. They need to be healthy, but Rivera needs to bring that just, up the middle attitude. I really think that these guys are the key to their success. I really do.
You think they should have an up-the-middle attitude? That's what John Fox had, and it got D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart often injured, really running on their backs. So literally is what the team was doing. We need a quarterback first and foremost. Jimmy Clausen is not the answer. We sat here and talked about this last spring. We both knew he was going to be a bust.
If he was your answer, then you need to change your question.
Exactly. He's the answer to the question, do you have a bad quarterback? Yes, Jimmy Clausen.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, Ron Rivera, I'm going to call out Jerry Richardson for a minute. This guy is the biggest grifter, thrifter, whatever you want to call it. He's a thrifty man. He's
fickle.
He's fickle. That's exactly what he is. And he doesn't like spending a lot of money. I saw a report.
He got this guy cheap.
Yeah, he did. I saw a report on ESPN Outside the Lines this week. They were doing MLK Day, Diversity Week, and they're talking about how minority coaches get paid. New minority coaches get paid on average $1 million less than new white coaches. Jerry Richardson loves saving money. I hope this guy, I'm pulling for him. I really am. I really hope he can pull some wins out, and I hope Steve Smith can resurrect his career.
This whole area, everybody lives and breathes by those Panthers, and it's just been disappointing these past few years for you guys. You really need to step it up. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. We would like to thank Jimmy Bass for joining us. Thanks, Jimmy. We'd also like to thank Joe Browning, Dustin Miller, and the Communication Studies Department. We will be back in 2 weeks with more footage, more news, and more great analysis. Have a great week. And remember, make it out to the men's basketball game this Saturday, Trust Coliseum versus Towson. Get there early, free pizza and drinks. Sayonara, Seahawks.